We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you.
ADR Networks presenta.
This is Celestine Angel.
And I'm Isaac Crouch.
And this is...
Foreign Show!
On that foreign show.
What it do, guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Welcome to That Foreign Show on ADR Networks. I'm Isaac Rakesh, and I am activating your senses. All right, today's show, we got some really exciting stuff that we want to talk to you guys about. We have very interesting guests, very interesting stuff they want to talk to you guys about. But before we get into that, we're gonna get into our insider segment for the day. All right, insider segment. Insider segment. What we have is actually place that we want to talk to you guys about and an event. All right, now this event is a performance, and actually we are going to be playing together with Solo Dos. Solo Dos is a band. All right, it's made up of two people, right? Armando and Akemi. All right, good friends of ours, and it happens to be Armando's birthday. So for the insider segment, we want to invite you guys down next Saturday to this place. This place is called Bodhi. All right. Now, if you look at the screen, we're going to be pulling it up for you guys to take a look right now. We're going to put up the poster or some information there so that you guys can actually go and check it out. Right. It's called Bodhi, and it's Armando's birthday. We're going to be playing, and then Solo 2 is going to be playing. Solo Dos is going to be playing. Where is this place? It's in Roma Norte, Medellin 194, and there's a cover of 50, and show starts at 8 p.m. All right, so hope to see you guys down there. All right, on today's show, we're going to talk about dark kitchens. We're going to talk about catering. We're going to talk about food. All right, we have a very special guest who's going to join us real soon. All right, she's from the UK, Jessie James. Big shout out. All right, and today's show, we're going to talk about what it means to actually have this space where what we call a dark kitchen. Actually, traditionally, the definition of a dark kitchen is basically a kitchen that you kind of run catering out of. You know, you don't have a place. You don't have a restaurant per se. It's like you kind of do takeouts from your kitchen. You know, you get your orders and then you do your takeouts. That's traditionally what a dark kitchen is about. But with Jessie James' concept is slightly different. So we're gonna wait for her to come on down into the show, and then we're gonna talk to her about that. All right. And also want to talk to her about some really interesting things that she does with the parties that she does. All right. She caters parties, events, things like that. And yeah, so once she comes on, we're gonna talk to her about that, right? So in the meantime, again, like we said, the insider segment. I want to see you guys down there. 4th of March, all right? 4 de Marzo, all right? It's 4th of March, and hopefully see you guys down there, all right? So now, what's been up, y'all? How you guys doing? How's everybody doing? Drop me a message. Let me know how you guys are feeling. What y'all feel about this concept of dark kitchens. Yes, she is setting up her thing to actually join us. All right, and I guess she'll be joining us real soon. Yeah, so dark kitchens. I'm sure during the COVID time, this idea of dark kitchens, or this concept of having a space where you prepare food just for takeout. I'm sure during the COVID time is when this concept kind of actually skyrocketed, and actually that brings to mind also the late host Isaac. He also was into this business as well. He actually was running a few kitchens or leasing out the spaces to people, to other restaurateurs or other chefs to actually use the space, and run their takeout stuff, right? For your Ubers and your DD food and all this kind of stuff. Or in our special case with Jesse James, never mind. I'll wait for her to come on and then we can talk about that. But basically, it's kind of exclusive. I mean, if you want to actually get an order done, you would have to talk to her. And yes, we did an event once before, right? Quite a few episodes ago, we talked about Phoenix Farms, and we did an event there. I don't know if you recall. Basically, she catered the food, and the food was seriously amazing, right? It was like all natural, It was vegan. There was some vegetarian options, if I'm not wrong. Yes, as you see on the screen right now, the poster, right? This is the insider segment for Saturday. All right. As you can see, Illuminary and Solodos. Okay, like I was saying, Jesse James, she catered an event that we played at Phoenix Farms, and the rooftop event that we did was real nice. Everyone enjoyed the food. The food was special, was fantastic, mainly because all the vegetables, they were grown by her. It's like her farm, right? It's like that rooftop garden at Phoenix Farms had greenhouse or spaces where there's herbs and plants and many other. I can't even remember some of the beautiful vegetables that we had. Amazing stuff. And yes, Jesse, hello, hi.
Hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Cool.
Can you hear me? You can probably hear some stuff cooking as well.
Oh, okay, that sounds nice. Stuff cooking.
I was
No,
going to
but
be in
yes.
the garden, but I've got some things in the oven, so
Cool.
I stay down here.
What do you have in the oven? Tell the people that first.
Some quiche. There are 3 quiche in the oven for a party tomorrow.
Nice. So Jesse, I was just telling the people that the vegetables they use are like homegrown, right? Can you tell them a bit about that?
Some of them are, yeah, not everything, because sometimes we cater for a lot of people and I can't grow everything. So we grow rocket, lots of salad leaves like arugula, mustard leaves, spicy, small things that are delicious, herbs. There's rosemary, thyme, oregano, mint, epazote, cebollín, chives, and tomatoes, delicious tomatoes, the ones that you can't get very easily. Because I don't have that much space and that much soil because it's on the roof. I can't grow hundreds of kilos of carrots or things like that. So, but yeah, the tasty little delicious things, the edible flowers, some strawberries. Yeah, there's all sorts of things up there.
Edible flowers, wow. Wait, so for someone that doesn't know anything about farming, right? Like, okay, so say tomatoes, right? Like, how much do you get? Like, say, I mean, of course, it depends on your plot and stuff, but
yeah, well, that's the thing. So that's why it's good to choose. Like, if you grow your own, you can choose certain varieties. So I've got this really nice variety of cherry tomato, and from one plant. So when some tomatoes, the flowers come and maybe only 5 tomatoes will grow on this little bit.
Right.
And with these ones, about 50 little cherry ones. So it's a really good variety. It's really prolific, and so that makes sense for me to grow. Whereas I wouldn't grow gigantic ones that take forever to mature, and then I don't have very many, and I can't use whereas if you have lots of little ones, you can make lots of little salads, colorful and delicious. I have to kind of think practically in that sense. Like there's no point in me growing maybe like aubergines or eggplant. It's quite one plant might only give you 3, and then that's not even one lunch. So you have to kind of think of how you can get the most fruits and deliciousness in a small amount of space.
So like those cherry tomatoes, like 50 or something, if you take, like, for example, you harvest them one time, and how long do you have to wait for them to get a second round?
We're at the end of February, and I think I planted the seeds at the end of November. So that's 3 months, like December, January, February, 3 months from a little seed to I now have like a fully grown plant with signs of, there's quite a lot of flowers on it, and there are some baby tomatoes. I'd say we can eat them maybe the first ones in 2 weeks. So it's about 4 months from the very beginning to getting tomatoes.
Man, that's so interesting. It's kind of almost like you have to plan. I mean, you have to plan in advance.
The nice thing about here, though, is that you don't have to think about it too hard because it's sunny all year round, and it's never really freezing. Whereas if I was in the UK, like my friends in the UK that have gardens, I think actually my friend on Valentine's Day, she always puts the first seeds, and then so that when like spring comes, the plants are a bit bigger, you can plant them outside, and then by summer, when it's hot in the UK, you're getting your tomatoes. But you wouldn't be able to do what I did in the UK starting in November because it's too cold. Yeah. Whereas here, you've got a lot more freedom. You don't have to worry so much about the seasons. You can pretty much do what you like, which is really fun. And grow tomatoes all year round. There are times that are better. It's warmer and colder and rainier, and it's not always the same. But more or less, you're kind of you have more freedom here. The climate's excellent.
So even during winter in Mexico, you're saying is like sunny and stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. So most things we can have all year round. And the thing is being organized enough. Like it does take quite a lot of organization. Normally, like so suddenly you have tons of one thing and none of the other thing. Or like I wouldn't be able to do a menu in 2 months' time based on things from the garden because and who knows if a little army of slugs or snails come and they eat everything, or it's kind of difficult to be sure of what you're going to have. But we try.
How long have you been doing this, like from like planting stuff and then putting it all the way to serving the food? Like how long have you been into this stuff?
Here about 5 years, I think. But I mean, in general, I've done it other places. With my mum when I was growing up, other places where I've lived, there's been vegetable gardens. In Costa Rica, where I lived, there was a vegetable garden, which was also different with different climate. In Italy, like in sort of almost all my life, I suppose. Can I just give me 1 second? I just want to.
Yes, please. Check it out, y'all. That's the kitchen. That's where the magic happens, right?
Yeah, it smells quite good. So I'm just going to take this one out of the oven.
I wish I could smell that, but right now I'm on this turmeric tea. Good stuff.
This one's ready.
Oh, wow. That's the quiche, right?
Yeah, but the other two aren't. But luckily I have somebody here helping me, so she can look after the others. I just smelled it and I was like, I don't want to get distracted and let it burn while I'm busy chatting.
But I mean, it's so interesting because the whole planning thing, right? Like you really need to know what the hell you're doing, right? Like obviously you do, like in terms of like what you're trying to get. You want to, what your menu is like, and then what you want to plant, right?
Yeah. And like sometimes you get quite carried away and you think that it might be really fun to grow. I mean, there's so many things that'd be fun to grow, but then I realized that it's not really practical for me to grow them here.
Right.
Like, because for the menus, it wouldn't, because I've tried to become more practical over time. And yeah, basically things that I wouldn't be able to get other places. Like there's really nice, I've got a really nice kind of kale that you can't really get in the markets and stuff. And that grows really well here. And so also you see the things that grow well and try to, just if something's working, then stick with that. And things that that are difficult or don't grow very well here.
I think there was kale in the dish that we tried during that event that we did.
Yeah,
right?
I think there was. Phoenix Farms they also have, because I did during the pandemic. I an apprentice. I did their like apprenticeship there, so I learned a bit from them, which was really interesting, and also got lots of seeds.
Well, can you tell us a bit about that? Like you were learning about plants basically and growing plants, right?
Yeah, and it was really useful because there were things that I knew, but they didn't really apply to Mexico City rooftop gardening. Like it's completely different in like the way my mum does it to the way that you do it here on a roof, because she's got tons of soil and I don't. But at Phoenix, it's the same problems, or the same. It's very sunny, which is good, but it means it needs to do a lot of watering.
Right.
And so I was able there to like learn, more kind of specific things for growing stuff here. And it's beautiful there. I mean, they've got a lot of space, and it was really useful. I went. I think it was Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Because we weren't doing so much catering stuff because of the pandemic.
Right.
So I was. I think it was almost a year.
So actually, if people wanna, like for example, have lunch or dinner, and also kind of check out how you do stuff and your area and take a look and everything, they can do that, right?
Yeah. They can. You can. There's my Instagram, which you can see kind of the stuff that I do. But also, I mean, to get in touch with me my phone number's there and email, and really we do almost anything. That's the fun thing. That's what I like about it. That there's all different sizes, all different shapes and sizes, different diets, different. There's someone wanted. I think they were celebrating a christening, and there was maybe 15 people, but they wanted it to be kosher. So we did that. We did like a kosher. The other people want it all to be vegan. Other people need it to be gluten free, right. Allergies, all that kind of stuff. Because it's not like a restaurant. It's every menu is designed specifically to your needs. So sometimes it's a lunch for 15 people or 50 people. Right. Sometimes people we do a lot of production stuff, which is good, but that's usually people that are working. So that's different again, and they need it to be practical. They need to be full. You need to keep everybody happy. There's all different kinds of people there. There are maybe models on certain kinds of diets, but then there are people that carry all the cameras, and they don't eat the same. Like one guy wants to have huge, massive, great plate of food, and the other one wants the opposite. So you have to keep lots of people happy, which we can do pretty much. And then there are the kind of more social events. Tomorrow, this is for a baby shower.
Oh, okay.
Some people are having a baby shower tomorrow, and it's going to be like a breakfasty brunch thing. And we try. I'm vegetarian, and I think everybody eats too much meat and fish in general. So I'm kind of. I try to sort of persuade people that they don't need to eat as much meat as they think. We're not strictly vegan or vegetarian, but we kind of sort of try and keep it, meat for special occasions. So you don't need to have meat with everything.
Right.
So it's nice to kind of surprise people. In fact, the Phoenix lunches are vegetarian, but we don't even tell people. And most people don't even notice. And then suddenly afterwards, they're like, hang on, there wasn't any meat in that. And you're like, no, but it was still pretty good, right? And so you kind of convince people.
Yeah.
That vegetables aren't as boring as they thought. And,
Psychological, right? I mean, like that is the impression that people have, right? That not so exciting vegetables, but then if you have meat, it's something to look forward to. I mean, it's just, I don't know, I think it's kind of psychological, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, people have an idea, especially if you say people like it's like a vegetarian lunch and they're like, oh, that sounds rubbish. And they,
Yeah.
it's all in the mind, so you don't tell them. Don't tell them and they don't even notice. Because like a lot, I mean, I send the menu, I tell people what they're going to have. And a lot of the time they just think, oh, that all sounds delicious. They don't think, hang on a minute, there's no bistec,
Where's the pasta?
Podemos moverla de abajo para arriba.
Very, very.
Rely on the quiche.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do. That's what I like about it as well. There's a lot of variety. We're not always doing the same thing.
So if menu-wise, like if people want to, they have something in mind, like say they want steak or something else, they can just talk to you and you guys can.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it can be quite easy. I quite like it when someone says, "Can you make me 5 veggie lasagnas for this?" They've got really clear in their mind what they want, and they just ask me to do that. That's fine. But usually, it's kind of more common that they say, "Suggest to me something." They kind of want me to suggest something that they might not normally be eating, because otherwise they think, "Well, I'll just do it myself." So normally we have quite a lot of. You're like, well, what kind of thing is it? Is it the morning? Is it the afternoon? Are there kids there? Is it like a fun drinking party? Is it serious? Is it a work meeting? Where are we going to be? Are we going to be halfway up a mountain? Is there a water? Is it going to be like a kind of camping sort of thing, or is it going to be in somebody's house where there's plates and stoves and yeah, depending on that information, we think what would be delicious to do. Like, I mean, a lot of people can cook all sorts of things, but a lot of this job is like getting it there, getting it there, heating it up, not spilling stuff on the way, it's like, like camping. I quite like that.
You mentioned an event that you did in Xochimilco on the boats.
Yeah, that was one of the funnest ones, actually. Some friends. It was quite a small wedding. I think there were 40 people. There weren't more than that, I don't think. And they tied 4 boats together for the trajineras. And one of them, they took all the benches out, so it was like a dance floor. 2 of them had people sitting in, or 3. And then the half of one of them was my little kitchen. So we took, most of the things ready in boxes, an ice box. I mean, I knew there that I was only going to have maybe 2 meters square, probably less than that, 1 meter square. Like really not a lot of space. So we were kind of, putting everything together and made all these really beautiful canapes and then passed them around the boats. It was really, really sweet. And except then typically the only time I think, and I've been to the Xochimilco a lot, the only time I had a boat with a hole in was that time. So the boat started to flood. And I looked down at my feet, it was like, I don't know, 5 centimeters more maybe of water kind of floating, stuff started to float around. So yeah, logistically that was quite an interesting one. It was really kind of that's the red mustard. Those are mustard leaves.
That's okay.
Yeah, here's the tomatoes. I think you're going to see some. Those is kale. It's just been harvested, so there's not as much of it. Those are calites.
Looks very different from what you find in the supermarket, right? The kale, it looks so different.
And these are the tomatoes. This is the one that has loads of tomatoes. Hang on a minute, I've got to stop this pinging. Those are little baby tomatoes on their way.
All right. So those tomatoes are how long more?
Oh, I think about 2 weeks probably. I get really excited and then I'm like looking at them every 5 minutes, but it's not really soon. I'm kind of wanting to eat them now, but yeah, I think I've definitely got 2 weeks to wait. That's a different kind of kale. There's some sage there. Some little strawberries, really delicious, tiny weeny strawberries. Those ones, they're wild strawberries, and they're very delicious.
Wild strawberries. Let me ask you this: where did this interest come from? I think of it really is service. You know, you're like you're serving people in a way. Like you're sharing your heart when you cook, and especially when there's an event and stuff or something, and especially since you grow some of the vegetables yourself.
Mhm.
Like it really is kind of like you're sharing yourself, right? When
Yeah, it's quite a personal sort of thing. I mean, and I think that's why people like it, because they know that, especially for them, it's not the same as, we're not churning out the same stuff every day.
Right.
And people can be, some of the people that bring us, they know that they can be really specific. Like, can you make, they can tell me exactly what they want, and or like, make that thing again that you made last time that was, and we do it all, kind of exactly how we want, I suppose, whereas, and how they want, but not, we don't have a menu that we have to stick to. We don't have, we're kind of quite free to.
The people respond to that.
What's in season as well is really important, because you can't. Sometimes people want, something with mangoes in it. You're like, no, the mangoes are horrible at the moment, or or the, when it's tangerine season, there's tangerines and everything, and then there aren't any for a while. All those, and also everything. Try and get everything. Eat what we don't grow. At least it should be Mexican. I don't like buying things like imported fruit and vegetables. I don't see how it's necessary. This country is absolutely gigantic with amazing climate. Like, you can get almost everything.
And herbs as well. You grow your herbs as well.
Yeah, pretty much all. I'm always having trouble with basil. It's always I haven't got any basil at the moment, which makes me sad. But sometimes I have an enormous one, and then it kind of comes and goes. But yeah, what have we got? Thyme, oregano, chives, epazote. Also things for tea, like cedrón and toronjil. So when we do like coffee services, we take coffee obviously, but then if people want tea, like quite a lot of the tea comes from the garden. So like herbal teas, verbena, mint, things like that. It's nice to take them from the garden. Also, another important thing we do there is that's where all our organic waste, we recycle all the organic waste in the compost.
In the compost, okay.
If anyone wants to learn about compost, feel free to get in touch and come and be a compost volunteer. Because it's
for sure. I'm sure there'll be people who are interested to find out about this. I'm interested to know. I mean, like some things about, about herbs and stuff. I mean, there's so much, right, to know, like and to learn, right? Like I just came across this thing earlier about what do you call it? Camry leaves.
What leaves?
Comfrey.
Comfrey's really it's really interesting. I made a kind of special fertilizer. That's something I learned at Phoenix, actually. They it has lots of special powers, comfrey.
Yeah, special powers, right? There's the thing that's really interesting. Like, this person was talking about first, like you have to see what season you're in, and that determines how you use the plant, right? And they mentioned growth hormone, growth potential, bone building, right?
Yeah, for some reason it works as a good fertilizer for that, I think.
Yeah.
It kind of encourages growth, it seems.
Yeah, this dude was saying like how he had a farm, and he recently purchased a cow, an old cow actually, that was on its way to be butchered. And this cow was really weak and stuff, and so he kind of did an experiment, and he fed the cow only the comfy leaves.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. And next thing you know, cow is getting bigger and stronger. Yeah, and started producing milk again. Yeah. And then he also, the person that did the video also mentioned how it works on bones, like and that's so amazing. I mean stuff like that kind of goes against what the normal mentality is about plants and herbs and stuff. Like when you tell someone, hey, this plant can help you grow your bones, most people will be like not believing that stuff, right? Like
Yeah, there's really, I mean, there's so many plants with like real serious magic powers.
Please tell us more. Do you know any more? I'm really interested to know.
Oh, I don't know. There's something I'm trying to grow, but I think this is my 4th attempt, and finally I've got little baby plants. But now they're just like, I don't know, they're not growing as much as I'd like them to. But echinacea, that's really magic. Like, I mean, I don't know how. It has beautiful flowers which attract bees, pollinators, and stuff. Which is the reason why I'm growing it. Because normally I just get the like, if you don't want to get ill, if you go to the homeopathic doctor, you can get echinacea.
Right.
It's amazing for your immune system. Like, it's really, it seems to, when there are bugs going around, or like if you start feeling sick or anything, echinacea is a really good one. God, there are hundreds, lots of them have, but I can't. Well, I'm not sure what we have here that's particularly. Toronjil, I think, is pretty good for you. But I wouldn't say it's a medicinal garden, because it's more. I mean, I don't have that much space, so it's mainly things for eating. Like, my priority is deliciousness. I would say,
as it should be.
Yeah, as it should be. At least does this. See.
Yo.
Yeah, but I was just remembering actually comfrey. My mum used to grow it, and my rabbit. I used to have a pet rabbit. I used to make him comfrey sandwiches. They were probably my first sandwiches I ever made. So I used to get 2 comfrey leaves and then put like other kind of grasses and stuff, and like roll it up in a little taco.
Really?
Feed it to the carrots, feed it to the rabbit. That's probably why he liked it as well, on account of its magic powers.
Yeah.
Animals tend to be smarter than us.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I should get comfrey growing. I've got a thing that's similar, borage, which is quite interesting. And we don't normally eat it that much, but in Italy and in Spain they eat it a lot more. I've really only been using it for the flowers, because the flowers are really pretty. They have this really tiny pale blue flowers. They were probably on that cake actually in the at Phoenix, because they're nice for decorating desserts and stuff.
What's it called again?
So I grow roses. I don't have very many, and bit by bit they are. That's probably about 10 roses there.
Wow.
Here are 2 that were flowering at the moment. So I just dry the petals, because rose petals are edible, and I use them for decorating cakes. But borage has got loads of vitamins in, and it's not that common. And I'm looking forward to making some Italian recipes with it, surprising people with a new vegetable.
I'm still thinking about that vegetarian lasagna that you're talking about. It sounds delicious, man.
Yeah, that like kale and mushrooms and bechamel sauce makes a pretty good vegetable lasagna. But yeah, I mean, everything. I make a lot of like. I don't really like. There's a massive sort of. It's really popular at the moment, all this like Beyond Meat and stuff, which is good, because I guess a lot of people would normally eat meat and they can eat that because it tastes the same. But in my mind, I prefer to just make things out of vegetables, because in the end, it's another processed thing. Like, it's better for you than meat, definitely.
Right.
But it's better for the planet than meat, definitely. But it's still like something that you buy in a packet that came from a different country. It's quite expensive. You don't know what's in it because you didn't make it. And so there's lots of things like tacos. I used to make like cauliflower al pastor, for instance. Works really well. So you've got your tortilla, you've got your pineapple and habanero salsa, which is absolutely delicious. And instead of meat marinated in this chili kind of adobo, instead of marinating meat, you just marinate cauliflower. Once you chop it up and fry it all up, and it's all crispy and chili, and like no one. I mean, you would know. I'm not saying that people wouldn't realize, but it doesn't. I don't really feel like it misses anything.
Right.
And so I find it quite fun to do. There's so many dishes like that people presume always have meat in, and they really don't have to. So that's also quite fun. I quite like giving people stuff like that. And then we used to have. I did a taco. A friend with a taco stand used to. We used to do veggie tacos on Tuesdays.
Oh wow!
And his normal customers would come and they're like, "Oh, you opened on a Tuesday?" And he was like, "Yeah." And then they looked a bit closer and they're like, "What's that cauliflower doing?" I didn't come for cauliflower. And we used to give them falafels. We used to do falafels. And I was like, it's kind of like albondiga. It's like a meatball, I mean, It's made out of chickpeas, but
What's the what's the response? Did they like it?
they did. And then they came back. I was like, that was probably one of my, when people are really not convinced initially and then they come back for more, that's probably the biggest compliment.
Yeah.
So a lot of taxi drivers used to stop there because it was where like the Uber drivers would wait. And they were mostly kind of quite meat eating.
Yeah. If you get those guys on your side, then yeah.
I know, because I was like, look, don't panic. Like, if you don't eat meat now, if you're feeling faint in the morning or whatever, you can have like, your chilaquiles with steak. I don't think, I don't think you're going to die between now and tomorrow morning. Just give it.
You got them, tranquilo, no pasa.
Exactly. Like, it's not that bad. And they were like, I don't know, but yeah, and then they'd come back. That was very, very.
That's really cool.
So that made me very happy.
You're doing a great service to humanity. You know that.
We try. Teaching people about the compost, teaching people to eat vegetables, generally being quite annoying. But no, I do try not to be annoying. I do feel like people should, it's annoying preaching to people. So I try not to do that.
Yeah, we try not
Definitely don't mention it until, just give them food that, and then afterwards when they like it, say,
yeah, that's gangster. That's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Like getting people in a more sly, silent way.
And them to be like kind of like, oh wow, it's not too bad. I wouldn't have tried it if you didn't, if not for this. Yeah.
Well, sometimes if you preach to me, there's nothing more annoying than being told everybody knows most of this stuff anyway, so it's really boring to be told, what. Hang on a minute. I thought I need to take those quiche out of the oven.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, races, welcome to That Foreign Show. Thank you for being here. This is ADR Networks. I'm Isaac Rakesh. I'm activating your senses.
Oh, yeah. I wish you could smell this.
Taste and smell, apparently, but we can't smell. Right now, what you're looking at is the kitchen of Jesse James.
I was planning to be in the garden, which I thought would have been more picturesque, but yeah, there was stuff needed to be done.
Yo, Edwin, can you run that video again of the garden so that the people can see? Yeah, we're gonna run that video again, and
I wish I'd tidied up a bit more before I did that video, but that's in its very natural state.
Wow. So you mentioned like parties, right? Do you come very much with like for example the events that you organize? Are you more about the food, like the angle from the food kind of thing, or right?
Yeah, that would be the first thing is the food, I'd say. Yeah, it should be the most important thing.
No, but the Xochimilco thing, like for example, that wedding idea and doing the food with the boats, and I think that's so interesting. That people, sounds really interesting. Like when I think of Xochimilco and the boats, it's just beer, right? Like beer, alcohol, and
it tends to be quite boozy. And it was really nice actually. That was people have all sorts of great ideas. That's why I'm always trying to tell people to have more parties.
Have more parties. Hashtag. Yes.
And then give a challenge is always good as well. So sometimes some people have really mad ideas, and I think we can do that. Oh, actually, I remember a really mad one, which was it was a film. What was the film called? Hellboy. It's like this kind of I didn't see it, but it was some superhero type thing. And they wanted red and black hamburgers. So I got the brilliant people at the bakery to do red and black hamburger buns. But then we made little devil horns with, colorín. The colorín is just out now. It comes out the same time as the jacaranda. It's this tree that you see it quite a lot in the city with red. The flowers are like just long fingers.
Yes, right. I've seen it, yeah.
Kind of petals. That you can eat that. People make kind of tortas from it. So I use them as little devil horns. So they had these little red burgers with little like flowers for horns. And I was pretty happy with that. But I did nearly fall out a tree I had to like.
Trying to get it.
They look like it looks like you can get to them, and they're all really high. It's like cycling around like a lunatic in the afternoon, like, man, I need to get more of these flowers. And they were all like too high up, and I couldn't cycle around with a ladder. So when I finally found one I didn't think looked that high, and I was like propped up my bicycle and was standing on the but bicycle is not a good thing to stand on. It's got wheels, it was gonna like speed right off. And I had to ask this random guy in the street just to help. I was like, can you hold on to my bicycle while I just climb up this tree and get some of these flowers? And I think he thought I was literally insane. But it worked. It was good. And the people at the party were pretty happy with the ingenious devil.
But you know what? That's the case for a lot of things. Like when you're doing your thing and you're very sure, like you're cycling, you see the flowers, I want to get the flowers, and someone's gonna call you insane. You know what I mean? It's just how it is. Like
Yeah.
And you like this topic is pretty interesting. Like this whole perception thing. Like how like if you serve someone who's so used to tacos, you serve them some vegetable thing, and you tell them, hey, why don't you try this vegetarian meal? It might be good for you,
Mm-hmm.
Immediately something kind of switches off, right? Like, nah, I know.
Yeah, people are like, shut up.
It's pretty weak and stuff, And then your response to that is to like kind of not be preachy, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. I mean, there are people preaching in other places, so I'll leave them to it. But it's better to be like, oh, there's this like delicious fried thing that's excellent for a hangover, and it just sounds like junk food, or it sounds like it was probably bad for you, but it definitely sounds like it's going to be delicious. And then afterwards, you're like, actually, it's not bad for you. It's just a falafel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, at the same time, if we do use meat, I prefer it to be I think people should think more about where it comes from.
Where it comes from.
Eggs, I don't understand how it's possible that they can still keep chickens in tiny little cages. Eggs should really come from chickens that have been able to run around, all that kind of stuff. But it should be sort of respected, I think. But yeah, I mean,
there's the whole thing about the feces, right? These animals who are kind of in these compartments, and eggs. Chickens, pigs. They're kind of just eating their own excrement, also, right? Or at least the excrement is kind of mixed into.
It's really, really cruel. Yeah, and I mean, there's things that like no one would dream of. Well, most people wouldn't dream of kicking a dog, or but they don't seem to have any problem with like every day eating eggs that come from a chicken that's had a much worse time than that. But yeah, the problem is that it seems the ones that are from free range chickens seem expensive because the cruel ones exist. The cruel ones shouldn't exist, and then the ones that's less cruel wouldn't seem expensive.
Yeah.
But while they do exist, everyone says, why would I pay double? I haven't got that much money. They say, well, then you just need to eat half as many, because it just shouldn't exist. That's my
right.
Yeah. But it's a big topic. It's difficult to.
Yeah, it's a
We
huge.
do what we can.
There's the whole thing about the cruelty aspect. Like these animals are not happy. Then there's the whole thing about there's so many of these animal farms in the world. There's the whole like pollution thing, artificial.
Yeah.
So
It is really complicated. That's another reason why. So, for instance, if we do I don't give people. I'm kind of stingy. We're not stingy. In the end, everyone has a huge amount of food, but I am quite careful with those things with animal products, for instance, because if you have just scrambled eggs on their own, each person can eat 3 eggs.
Right. Okay.
Whereas if you have scrambled eggs with onion and zucchini, or I don't know, huevos a la mexicana, with beans, with you can have half as many eggs and half of it other kind of protein or vegetables, and no one realizes that that's a more planet conscious way to eat. You don't have to tell them, but since we're cooking for people every day, that's what we try and do, so that it's people actually get a better breakfast from it, than they would if it was just eggs. It's more colourful, more delicious, but it is designed, secretly designed in that sense. This is the thing.
Yeah.
I've just seen that this computer has 3% of battery, and I don't have its charger.
Okay.
I don't want to get. I don't think it's been going down that. Oh no, now it says 2. So I don't want to get us to get cut off.
No, well, if we do get cut off, then it's cool. It's like you know, if you have to go, you have to go.
Then we won't have to have any awkward goodbyes. We'll just we'll just be gone.
You'd be like an apparition or something, you know, like
Yeah.
a message from the light, you know, like no, but seriously, not 2%, right? 2%. So let's get to the.
Yeah. So everyone should have a party. Everyone should think of a good reason to have a party.
Right.
Life is short, and any excuse is a good one. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, like people, we do for all different budgets, all different. You know, it can just be like a picnic for your mates. You want to go to the park, or you know, you want a load of sandwiches and chocolate brownies and things like that. Or it could be delicious little beautiful canapes for a art show, or for your friend's birthday, or hen party, or absolutely anything.
So, savory stuff as well, right? You're saying like right? Okay, cakes.
Yeah, I used to just make sandwiches. That's how it started. I used to cycle around selling. When I met you guys, actually about 9 years ago, I think it was. That's when I started cycling around selling sandwiches on a bicycle.
Wow. And if people want to find your stuff, like how do they? I mean, you're not on the usual platforms, right? Like Uber Eats and stuff.
No, because we don't open every day, and so sometimes we might be all week doing a film or something, which is quite, you know, if that's happening, you can't really do anything else. And another week might be completely free, and you know, just go to Xochimilco and have a fun time. Yeah, so there's no knowing where we'll be or how busy we'll be or how available we'll be unless you write to me directly, basically.
That is so special and interesting, like for people like they wanna get your food. They're gonna have to actually
get in touch.
Yeah, get in
The
touch.
other thing, definitely. There's something weird with Instagram. Maybe it's just me. I'm technologically not very clever. But yeah, sometimes the worst thing is I don't see the message. When they come from people that you don't know, they don't show you, they go into a different folder and I don't always see them. If you don't get a response, try again. But yeah, in general, the thing is just to write to me and see, how available we are. You could, if you wanted to come and check out the garden or the compost or anything, that could be done. Also, the spaces can be cleaned up and made quite nice for little events. You can have like a little party or whatever here or wherever anybody says. We're open to all suggestions.
Nice. And like how many the space if how many people?
I'd say 20 max, really.
20 max. Okay, all right.
But then if it's more than that, there are all sorts of other places. But it's kind of a bit of a hippie vibe probably. But I think it's quite a unique spot. They call it, I mean, it's technically a dark kitchen, but it's very sunny.
Right. So the best way to reach you would be Instagram or? Yeah,
Instagram or by my phone, which is on Instagram. Yeah, or email.
Cool.
But yeah, we're here and willing to work.
If we want to, I mean, if someone doesn't want a special menu or anything, they just wanna eat what you have prepared and stuff, they can do that as well, right? Just
I'll suggest stuff. I normally ask, do you eat everything? Is there anything that you don't like or don't tolerate or whatever? And then depending on that, I'll design a menu.
Okay. And how many?
Also, we don't use a lot of packaging, so it's always try to design either, if you have to use it, then the compostable packaging. But we also put like the drinks in glass bottles. You know, like when you get a caguama. So we put could be whatever water, you know, the Jamaica or whichever, and we put them in little glass bottles, and then you return them to us, like the same as when you buy a caguama, so that we don't throw away any plastic bottles.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of
we won't, even if people ask, that's one thing I won't take. I won't take bottled water. I'm afraid. There are some things that I'm a bit get a bit.
Oh, I was just gonna ask her. Is it got to do with yeah? Oh, she's there. Oh, that was really nice. That was Jessie James, all right, and she was talking about running her business, her dark kitchen here in Mexico, all right, in Roma Norte, actually. Um, no, actually, no. It's not in Roma Norte. It's actually her spot. All right, her spot is in San Miguel Chapultepec. Right, San Miguel Chapultepec is actually near the Bosque de Chapultepec. Right, that's where her spot is. Her video. Gonna run it. See if we can run it again. The video. Evan, if you can help me with that, just run the video of Jesse's rooftop operation, right? And this is actually at in San Miguel Chapultepec, and she says about 20 people, right? If you want to do an event or something, about 20 people can fit that space, all right? And if you, I mean, she does events in other locations as well. Depends on the menu, what you want. You can actually talk to her and find out what she has cooking, or work with her on what you want for your event. And yes, that was really interesting, and so many interesting topics that we talked about also. And this whole thing about doing your own thing, and kind of just like how she says she doesn't touch plastic. She doesn't want to get into the whole touching plastic bottles and stuff. And I mean, in an attempt to kind of keep things planet friendly. So for us here, and for people like Jessie James, and people who are doing their own thing, independent people, with a real passion for what they do, and also with a real focus on making sure that the footprint that they have, the things they leave behind, is positive, And this whole thing about, oh, what's positive, what's negative, right? We don't want to get into preaching about stuff like vegetarian food is good for you, or blah blah blah, this and that. Like this whole, there's no need to get into any of that, because everything is permissible. I mean, everyone's free to do and eat whatever they want and stuff. But I guess for people who are like kind of like Jessie James, or if you listener, viewer, if you are also doing your own thing, and you have love for the people around you, your planet, and things like that. Us here at TFS, myself, all right, and ADR Networks, we encourage you to just do your thing and just keep doing it, and do it bigger and better, and just do it with love, multiply with the thing that you're doing, right? Because actually, it is more powerful than preaching, right? Kind of like what Jessie says. All right, we got 5 minutes here left on the show, and I'll close with this. To quote Jessie James, right? This whole thing about not preaching to people, because people kind of already have the information, the information that you think you're enlightening them with. People kind of already have it. What they might not have possibly could be a motive to kind of eat, right? A motive to kind of pick a vegetarian meal, or pick a healthier option, or not use the plastics, right? And that's where us creators, you guys included, can come in. So instead of preaching, we just do our thing. You know what I mean? Just keep doing what you do, and then the right people will be there to support you and encourage you. Just like how we are asking for your support and encouragement. Thank you for being here on ADR Networks. All right. My name is Isaac Rakesh. We are activating your senses. And I also want to leave you with the insider segment again. Just tell you guys a bit about that while we close. This is happening on the 4th of March at 8 p.m. All right, at Bodhi, a really cool spot. We're going to have some nice music for Armando. Big shout out to Armando for his birthday. And us, Illuminari, we're going to be playing some songs there with Solo 2. All right. So yeah, this is really interesting. I mean, like, when I think about these topics and the guests that we talk to every episode, and kind of like what's the running theme that runs through all of these, and also specifically, it kind of comes down to this, like we're not really interested in preaching, or we're not really interested in like kind of just giving information, like that's not what it's about, sharing yourself, sharing your art, sharing your love, and sharing what you do. Things like that would actually make a more impactful change in the world. All right, so I'm going to sign out right now. My name is Isaac Rakesh. This is ADR Networks, and I'm activating your senses. Peace.
Thank you to all who joined us here on That Foreign Show. It's been awesome. I'm Celestine Angel.
And I'm Isaac Crouch, and we'll see you next Friday. Have a great weekend, y'all.
Entrando por tus oídos hasta llegar al centro de tus emociones, ADR Networks está en este momento
activando tus sentidos.
That foreign show.